The conflict between Hezbollah and the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, has escalated dramatically, with the Lebanese militant group intensifying its operations against Israeli military positions and infrastructure. The heightened hostilities have seen Hezbollah specifically targeting IDF military bases and intelligence facilities, marking a significant escalation in its ongoing campaign against Israel. In a series of coordinated attacks, Hezbollah claimed responsibility for eliminating Israeli reservist Omer Moshe Gelder in southern Lebanon, underscoring the increasing human toll of the conflict. This development has further strained the already fragile situation in the region, pushing tensions between the two adversaries to new heights. Hezbollah's announcement of killing an Israeli reservist was followed by claims of successfully downing an Israeli drone operating in Lebanese airspace. The group released footage purportedly showing the drone's wreckage, presenting it as evidence of their growing capability to challenge Israel's aerial supremacy. This claim, while yet to be confirmed by Israeli authorities, highlights Hezbollah's continued focus on disrupting Israel's reconnaissance and intelligence gathering operations. The loss of a drone, if verified, would represent a rare setback for the IDF, which relies heavily on advanced technology to monitor and counter threats from adversaries like Hezbollah. In a series of attacks that Hezbollah described as significant operations, the group targeted multiple IDF installations along Israel's northern frontier. Among the primary targets were the Beit Lid and Ramat David airbases, key strategic locations for Israel's military operations in the region. Hezbollah asserted that its drones scored direct hits on these bases, though the extent of the damage remains unclear. Israeli officials have refrained from providing detailed reports on the attacks, instead emphasizing their commitment to responding decisively to any threats to their security. The IDF has acknowledged increased activity in the northern sector but has downplayed the impact of Hezbollah's strikes, asserting that their defenses remain robust. These attacks come amid a broader pattern of intensification in the conflict, with Hezbollah ramping up its use of drones and other advanced weaponry in its operations. The group has increasingly employed unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, to conduct precision strikes, a tactic that reflects both the growing sophistication of its arsenal and its strategic shift toward modernized warfare. Hezbollah's ability to deploy such capabilities raises concerns for Israel, as it complicates the IDF's efforts to maintain its traditional military superiority in the region. For Hezbollah, these attacks serve as both a demonstration of strength and a warning to Israel about the potential costs of further escalation. The strikes on Beit Lid and Ramat David airbases are particularly noteworthy given their significance to Israel's military infrastructure. Beit Lid serves as a logistical hub for IDF operations in the northern sector, while Ramat David is one of Israel's primary airbases, housing critical assets for aerial operations. Damage to either facility could have far-reaching implications for Israel's ability to conduct defensive and offensive operations in the region. By targeting such high-value assets, Hezbollah appears to be sending a clear message about its willingness and capacity to challenge Israel on multiple fronts. In response to these developments, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened an emergency meeting with top military and intelligence officials to assess the situation and chart a course of action. Following the meeting, Netanyahu reiterated Israel's resolve to defend its sovereignty and warned Hezbollah of severe consequences if the group continued its provocations. "We will not tolerate any attacks on our territory or our people," Netanyahu declared in a televised address. "Our enemies must understand that we are prepared to take whatever measures are necessary to protect our nation." The IDF, for its part, has intensified its operations in southern Lebanon, targeting suspected Hezbollah positions and supply lines. Israeli airstrikes have reportedly hit several locations near the Lebanese-Israeli border, with the IDF claiming to have neutralized key Hezbollah operatives and infrastructure. However, these strikes have also resulted in civilian casualties, further complicating the conflict and drawing criticism from international observers. Humanitarian organizations have expressed concern over the impact of the escalating violence on civilians, particularly those in border areas who are caught in the crossfire. The international community has reacted with alarm to the escalating conflict, with calls for restraint coming from multiple quarters. The United Nations has urged both sides to de-escalate and return to dialogue, warning that the continued violence risks plunging the region into a broader conflict. UN peacekeeping forces stationed in southern Lebanon have reported increased activity along the border, with frequent exchanges of fire and rising tensions between the two sides. Despite these warnings, neither Israel nor Hezbollah shows any signs of backing down, with both parties doubling down on their respective positions. Iran, Hezbollah's primary backer, has voiced strong support for the group's actions, framing them as a legitimate response to Israeli aggression. Iranian officials have condemned Israel's military operations in Lebanon, accusing Tel Aviv of violating Lebanese sovereignty and escalating regional tensions. Tehran's support for Hezbollah is seen as part of its broader strategy to counter Israeli and Western influence in the Middle East. For Israel, Iran's backing of Hezbollah underscores the broader regional dynamics at play, where local conflicts are often proxies for larger geopolitical rivalries. The situation in Lebanon adds another layer of complexity to the conflict. The country is already grappling with a severe economic crisis and political instability, and the ongoing violence only exacerbates these challenges. Lebanese officials have expressed concern over the potential for a wider war, warning that such an outcome would have catastrophic consequences for the country. Critics of Hezbollah within Lebanon argue that the group's actions serve Iranian interests rather than those of Lebanon, further deepening divisions within the country. For Israel, the latest escalation is a stark reminder of the persistent threats it faces from its northern border. The IDF has long viewed Hezbollah as one of its most formidable adversaries, given the group's significant military capabilities and its backing from Iran. The ongoing conflict underscores the challenges Israel faces in maintaining security while avoiding a full-scale war that could have unpredictable and far-reaching consequences. As the situation continues to evolve, the prospect of further escalation remains high. Both Israel and Hezbollah appear determined to achieve their objectives, even at the risk of wider conflict. For now, the focus remains on managing the immediate crisis, but the underlying tensions that have fueled this conflict show no signs of abating. The coming weeks will be critical in determining whether the region can avoid descending into a broader and more devastating confrontation.